Let's get straight to it. You're angry again. It's not the first time, it won't be the last. And you know it. Someone said something to you, someone ignored you, someone did exactly what you expected they would, and still they managed to get under your skin, and now you're here, boiling inside, convincing yourself you're right to feel this way. Do you know what the worst part is? You think the problem is the other person. You think that if only they acted differently, if only they understood, if only they changed, you'd be at peace. Lie. The brutal truth is this: no one has the power to upset you unless you give it to them. And the worst of it is you hand it over willingly, again and again, like a reflex you can't control. But here's what you don't want to hear: that anger isn't about them. It's about you. Every time someone manages to irritate you, they're not revealing something about themselves. They're revealing something about you. They're touching a wound that was already there. They're pressing a button you installed yourself, and as long as you believe the source of your anger is out there, you'll remain a slave to other people's actions. Think about it. How many times have you let a stupid comment ruin your entire day? How many times have you lost hours, days, weeks, chewing on something someone said to you? And meanwhile, that person probably doesn't even remember you. They're living their life, completely unaware of the hell they've unleashed in your head. Do you see the irony? You're the only one still suffering. You're the only one replaying that scene over and over. They moved on, but you stayed trapped, punishing yourself with your own thoughts. Alan Watts put it in a way that cuts like a razor. Man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. You're taking life too seriously. You're taking yourself too seriously. And worst of all, you're taking other people too seriously. People don't have a master plan to ruin your day. Most are so lost in their own dramas, they don't even notice the impact they have on you. They act from their own wounds, their own fears, their own unconsciousness. And you, instead of seeing it for what it is, take it as a personal attack. Every word, every gesture, every silence, you interpret it as if it were designed specifically to hurt you. It isn't. They're just being human, clumsy, confused, wrestling with their own demons. But you turn their chaos into your poison. Here's the part no one tells you. Anger is a choice. Yes, even if it sounds impossible, even if it feels automatic, it's a choice. You can't control what others say or do, but you can control how you interpret it, how you process it, how you respond. The problem is, you've automated the response. You've trained your mind to react the same way over and over until it feels inevitable. Someone says something, you get angry. Someone ignores you, you get offended. Someone doesn't meet your expectations, you explode. It's a pattern so repeated, you don't even question it anymore. But ask yourself this: who programmed that pattern? You did. And if you created it, you can undo it. The truth is, most people live on autopilot. They react without thinking, respond without questioning, get angry without understanding why. And they spend years, decades, a whole life as puppets of their own emotions. Every time someone pulls the right strings, you dance. And the worst part is you think you have no choice, that this is just how life works, that anger is natural and uncontrollable. But it isn't. It's just a habit you've practiced so well it now defines you. Think about the last time you got angry. Was it really worth it? Did it change anything? Did it improve the situation? Or did you just feel worse? More drained, more bitter, more empty? Anger solves nothing. It only adds more weight to a load that's already too heavy. And yet you keep reaching for it as if it's the only tool you have. Here's what Alan Watts understood and most people ignore. You can't change others, but you can change your relationship with them. This isn't about accepting abuse. It isn't about becoming a doormat. It's about understanding the problem isn't what they do, it's how you receive it. Imagine someone throws a stone at you. You can catch it and keep it in your pocket for years, or you can let it drop to the ground and keep walking. The stone doesn't define your path. You decide whether you carry it. And most people choose to carry it. They collect stones one by one until the weight is unbearable. And then they wonder why life feels so hard. Anger is a trap. It makes you feel powerful in the moment. It gives you the illusion of control, of justice, of being right. But it's a lie. Anger doesn't strengthen you. It weakens you. Every time you get angry, you're handing your power to someone else. You're saying, "You control how I feel. You decide whether today I'm okay or not." Do you really want to live like that? Do you really want your inner peace to depend on what other people do or say? Because that's what happens when you live from anger. You're not free. You're a prisoner of other people's actions, a slave to their words, a puppet of circumstances. And as long as you stay there, you'll never find peace. Epictetus said it centuries ago. It's not things that disturb us, but the opinions we have about them. Let that sink in. It's not what they say that upsets you. It's what you choose to think about what they say. It's not what they do that makes you angry. It's the story you tell yourself about what they do. And that story, my friend, is fiction. It's your interpretation, your narrative, your personal drama. It isn't the truth. It's just a version of the truth filtered through your fears, your insecurities, your unhealed wounds. And as long as you believe that story, you'll keep suffering. Here's the trick that separates those who live in peace from those who live in constant conflict. Detachment. It doesn't mean you don't care about anything. It means you don't cling to anything. You don't cling to how things should be, how people should act, what you expect from the world. Because every time you cling, you create friction, and friction creates pain. Think about this. How many times have you gotten angry because someone didn't act the way you expected? How many times have you felt betrayed because someone didn't meet an expectation they didn't even know you had? That's the trap. You create rules in your head about how the world should work. Then you get angry when the world doesn't follow them. But the world doesn't know your rules. People don't know what you expect from them. And even if they did, they're not obligated to meet it. Freedom begins when you stop expecting, when you accept that people will act from their own chaos, their own confusion, their own unconsciousness. They don't do it to upset you. They do it because it's all they know how to do in that moment. And when you understand that, when you truly understand it, anger dissolves. Not because you suppressed anything, but because it no longer makes sense. It's like getting angry at a child for not knowing how to solve a differential equation. It makes no sense. They simply don't have the tools yet. And most people, including adults, don't have them either. They're doing the best they can with what they have. And the best they can sometimes is terrible, clumsy, hurtful. But it's not about you. It never was. Alan Watts talked about the nature of water. Water doesn't fight rocks. It doesn't get angry when it meets obstacles. It simply flows around them. It changes shape, adapts, continues without resistance. And over time, water is stronger than rock. It erodes it, transforms it, turns it into sand. That is real strength, not resistance, not struggle, not anger, but the ability to flow, to adapt, to move without friction. And you can be like water. You can let other people's words, actions, attitudes flow through you without getting stuck, without creating resistance, without becoming stones in your pocket. But here's the problem. You've been trained to resist. You were taught that defending yourself means getting angry, that protecting yourself means attacking, that taking care of yourself means responding with the same intensity. And all of that is a lie. True defense is not letting yourself be affected. True protection is not absorbing the poison. True self-care is keeping your inner peace intact, no matter what happens outside. Because at the end of the day, the only thing you truly have is your internal state. You can lose money, relationships, opportunities. But if you keep your peace, you've lost nothing. And if you lose your peace, no matter how much you have, you've already lost everything. Think of someone you admire, someone you deeply respect. Do they get angry over every little thing? Do they explode every time someone contradicts them? No. They stay steady, calm, centered, not because they repress their emotions, but because they understand anger is an energy leak. It's like burning your own house down because you don't like the decor. It makes no sense. You're destroying the only thing you truly have: your peace, your clarity, your center. And for what? A comment, an action, something you won't even remember in a week. Is it worth it? It never is. Here's what Watts understood and few people manage to see. The universe isn't conspiring against you. There's no master plan to make you suffer. Things just happen. People act. Events unfold. And you get to choose how you respond. You can choose to get angry, to be offended, to become bitter. Or you can choose to observe, accept, and move forward. Most choose the first because it's easier, because it's automatic, because it's what they've always done. But those who truly live, those who find peace in the middle of chaos, choose the second. Not because they're special, not because they have a superpower, but because they understood something fundamental. Anger changes nothing except you. And it doesn't change you for the better. There's a Zen story that illustrates this perfectly. A master and his disciple were walking through the forest when they encountered a man who shouted insults at them. The disciple was furious, ready to respond, but the master simply kept walking. Hours later, the disciple was still upset. "How could you ignore him?" he asked. The master replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The disciple fell silent. The master continued, "That man offered me his anger. I did not accept it, so the anger is still his." That's the key. Every insult, every offense, every provocation is an offer. You decide whether you accept it, and most people accept without thinking, as if it were mandatory. But it isn't. Next time someone tries to upset you, watch what happens. Don't react immediately, just observe. Watch the emotion rise. Watch the narrative form. Watch your mind start creating the story of why this is terrible, unjust, unacceptable. And in that space of observation, you'll find something astonishing: a choice. You can choose to enter the game or stay out. You can choose to defend your position or let go of the need to be right. You can choose to fight or to flow. And when you choose to flow, when you choose to let go, you discover that real power isn't in resistance, but in surrender. Not surrender to the other person, but surrender of your need to control how things unfold. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is what you need to burn into your brain. You have no control over what other people do. You never did. You never will. But you have total control over how you respond. That is your power, your only power, and it's more than enough. When you understand this, the whole world changes. Not because the world changed, but because you changed your relationship to it. You're no longer a victim of circumstances. You're a conscious observer who chooses their response in every moment. But let's be honest, this is hard. You won't master it overnight. You've spent years, maybe decades, reinforcing the anger pattern. You've built neural highways that go straight from stimulus to reaction without passing through reflection. Changing that takes conscious effort. It takes practice. It takes catching yourself again and again, right at the moment you're about to react. And the first time, the second time, the 10th time, you'll fail. You'll get angry anyway, and that's okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. Every time you notice you're getting angry, even after the fact, you're progressing. You're creating space between stimulus and response. And that space is where freedom lives. Here's what most people don't understand. It's not about not feeling. It's about not being controlled by what you feel. You can feel irritation, annoyance, frustration. Those are normal human emotions. The problem isn't feeling them. The problem is identifying with them. The problem is believing you are your anger, your irritation, your frustration. You're not. You are the awareness that observes those emotions. You are the space in which they appear and disappear. And when you understand that, when you actually live it, emotions lose their power. They come, you observe them, you let them go. You don't cling to them, you don't feed them, you don't give them more energy than they deserve. And slowly, they stop controlling you. Watt spoke about the ego as an illusion, a mental construction we believe we are, but that doesn't really exist. And anger is how the ego tries to protect itself. Every time you feel attacked, threatened, ignored, your ego jumps to defend. How dare they? It screams. Who do they think they are? It protests. This isn't fair, it complains. And you, believing the ego is you, follow its script. You get angry because you think they're attacking something real, something important, something that must be defended. But what they're attacking is only an idea, an image you have of yourself. And that image is not you. It's just a story you've told yourself for so long that you confused it with reality. Imagine for a moment that you had no ego, no image to protect, no reputation to defend, no identity to maintain. How would you respond to provocations? Probably with indifference. Because without ego, there's nothing to attack. Words just bounce off. Gestures don't land anywhere. Insults fall into a void. Not because you've become numb, but because there's no target left to aim at. And that is true in vulnerability, not building higher walls, but dissolving the castle you think you need to protect. Most people spend their lives defending something that never existed. They're fighting imaginary battles against imaginary enemies to protect a version of themselves that is completely fictional. And in that constant struggle, they lose the only thing that is real, the present moment. Because while you're angry about something someone said an hour ago, you're not here. While you're replaying yesterday's argument, you're not here. While you're planning tomorrow's mental revenge, you're not here. And life, real life, only happens here, now, in this moment. Everything else is fantasy. Buddha summed it up in a devastating line. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Read that again. Let it sink in. Every time you cling to anger, every time you feed it, every time you justify it, you're the one who suffers. The other person probably hasn't even noticed. They're living their life, eating, sleeping, laughing, while you burn in your own bitterness. Who's winning there? No one. But you are definitely losing. You're trading your peace, your health, your energy for something that changes nothing. It's the dumbest transaction you can make, and yet millions of people make it every day. So what's the alternative? Simple, though not easy. Let go. Let go of the need to be right. Let go of the need for others to understand your point. Let go of the need for justice, revenge, repair. Not because those things don't matter, but because clinging to them costs you more than they're worth. Ask yourself this: what matters more, being right or being at peace? Because in most cases, you can't have both. You have to choose. And those who choose being right live in perpetual conflict. Those who choose peace live free, even when the world around them is chaotic. Here's the final secret few discover: no one can upset you without your permission. No one can make you angry without your cooperation. No one can disturb you without your participation. Every reaction is a choice, even when it doesn't feel like it. And when you start to see that, when you truly understand that you're in control, everything changes. You're no longer a victim. You're no longer a reactor. You become a conscious creator of your experience. And from that place, life stops being a battle and becomes a dance. You flow with what comes. You adapt without resistance. You respond without reacting. And in that flow, you find something anger never gave you: real peace. Not the peace of everything going the way you want, but the peace of knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be okay, because your well-being no longer depends on others. It depends on you, and it always has. If you made it to the end, comment, "I'm in control," and I'll reply to you personally. And if this content resonated with you, subscribe to be part of it and leave a like if you enjoyed it. See you next time.